What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to True Raider Podcast. Now, I know I haven't been posting a lot lately. There's been a lot of things going on with my family. We went on vacation. I had COVID. There was just a bunch of things that just kind of like didn't line up very well. As well as there not being a ton of news going on, which is really good for us during the off season because we kind of have a track record of having a lot of drama during the off season, and things are pretty quiet. I'm pretty happy with that. Today I wanted to just give a breakdown of the quarterback room. Now, I know everybody's been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, and it's been a minute since I've talked about it myself. So really, I wanted to just start off by saying that I already think that Aiden O'Connell is going to be the starter. I am not an Aiden O'Connell guy. I'm not one of these what do they call them, Kardashians. I'm not one of these that's just chasing, oh, he's going to be the man, and all that stuff, right? But what I do think is that out of our current quarterback room, that he is the ideal starter for us right now. So I'm gonna just give a quick share screen on this, man. That way I could talk about why I feel that way. So Aiden O'Connell, his stat sheet wasn't amazing, right? His rookie year, he was kind of thrown into this weird system with Josh McDaniels, and there was a lot of sloppy things that were happening with the offense. He started off with Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian Hoyer. Aiden O'Connell, starting as our QB3, having to work his way into a starting position. And when he first got thrown into a game, it was against the Chargers. Khalil Mack sacked him 6 times. He was not ready to get thrown in that position, right? So now he's had a full offseason. He's getting those starting reps. I really think that, he's really going to be in way better form than he was going into last season. Now, Aiden O'Connell's a guy that Purdue, he worked his way up from eighth on the roster for QB, into a starting role. He started his last 2 seasons and then, kind of working his way up the roster with the Raiders as well. Now, he only had 2,200 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. QBR 40.5, right? Not amazing stats. He played 11 games. And the reason why I think he's going to start over Gardner Minshew. Now, Gardner Minshew, in 2023, he started 17 games, right? 17 games played, and he only had 3,300 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions with a QBR of 59.6. Now, I like Gardner Minshew. I think he's got a great skill set. I think he's got a talent that Aiden O'Connell doesn't offer with more scrambling and things like that. But everybody talks about Aiden O'Connell is this statue, right? And the thing is Aiden O'Connell, yes, his rookie year with the Raiders, he stayed in the pocket a lot. He was kind of statuish. That's also, given that we had an interim head coach, we had uh, an offensive coordinator that had never called plays before, and he was calling off of a limited version of Josh McDaniels' playbook. A lot of what they were calling calls for the quarterback to stand still, right? It just is. If you look at some of the tape for Aiden O'Connell from Purdue, he actually has a lot of plays where he rolls out to the right, is throwing on the run. He's not going to be a running back. He's not going to be a rushing quarterback. He's one of those guys that's going to be a pocket passer. And it looks like he does, like, because I've been watching a lot of his college tape because I'm wondering, like, is this going to be somebody that is a serviceable starter for us? And really, in his college play, he was a lot more mobile in the pocket, moving around, a lot more aware than he was in his rookie year in the NFL. Now, NFL speed is a lot faster, and I think that they're going to work on a lot of those things now in the offseason, now that he gets a full offseason with those starting reps. Because let's face it, all the chatter that's going on, Devontae Adams is talking about him. It's pretty clear to me that Aiden O'Connell is going to be that guy, right? Antonio Pierce said it's Aiden O'Connell's job to lose. And I believe that. And I think that he's going to go in as the day one starter. And I think that, they're going to give him at least 6 games, and I think that if he's shit in the bed at 6 games, they're going to throw in Gardner Minshew, right? Because really what we need to see is what Aiden O'Connell is. Are we going to actually have a legitimate starter in Aiden O'Connell moving forward for years to come? Or is this a guy that's just, he got drafted by the last regime and we need to start looking at a quarterback? So we don't really know that unless we play him, right? So if we play him, you know, I know that we're more of a win now kind of situation because everything is stacked besides the QB room, right? And if he's at least a serviceable, if he can be a top 25 quarterback, top 20, hopefully, I think that with the way that this team is built around him, that we can win a lot of games, right? That we can get into the playoffs. Now, Aiden O'Connell is going to have a lot better time in Luke Getsy's offense than he did with Josh McDaniels. We've had several players come out, Michael Mayer and other players that said, it's so much easier to learn this offense and it makes so much more sense to them. I think that with the personnel that we have on the field, it's actually going to make a lot more sense. And then with the addition of Brock Bowers, Thayer Mumford is going to be on that right tackle. I liked Jermaine Illuminor, but he had a lot of costly penalties and he got beat at really bad times. So even though statistically he looked pretty good, there's there's not a stat for, you gave up that sack or that QB pressure at a really awful time that could have cost the game, right? Or you had an untimely penalty, but we're not talking about offensive line, we're talking about quarterbacks, right? And with that quarterback room, I think Aiden O'Connell, we need to see what we have in him before we just move on, right? Because if we draft a rookie next year, I don't care if we have the number 1 pick. That's somebody that it's going to take a couple years to really develop and get to the spot that we want. So really the best situation for the Raiders, and it's not that I want Aiden O'Connell to be that guy because I want it to be Aiden O'Connell. I want Aiden O'Connell to be that guy because I don't want to have a couple more years of trying to groom a quarterback and trying to get in position to actually win some games. I want it to be now. Now, I do want to just share screen because we do have a battle in our quarterback room, all the way down the line, right? And Anthony Brown is one of the guys that's, fighting to be on this roster. He's definitely is a lot better in the scramble game. He only has 2 games played in the NFL. And his college stats, they're decent. They're not, nothing jumps out at me. Looks like he had 2,900 passing yards here, almost 3,000. And then 18 touchdowns versus 7 interceptions. His best is 20 versus 9. You know, he's pretty good. I don't think that he's going to be battling for a number 2 spot. Same with Carter Bradley. Now, Carter Bradley, he's a UDFA. He's Gus Bradley's kid, so he's been around the football his whole life, right? Gus Bradley is our former defensive coordinator. Now, his stats don't really jump to me either. He had 1 year where he had 3,300 passing yards. Last season, 2,600. 19 touchdowns versus 7. The year that he had 33, he had 28 touchdowns versus 12. It's decent. I don't think that he's battling for that number 2 position either. I think that the 2 of these guys are battling to see who gets that QB3 spot. Honestly, I think it's going to be Carter Bradley. And I think that the way that this is going to shake out is we're going to have Aiden O'Connell as QB1, Gardner Minshew as QB2, and Carter Bradley as QB3. Now, I am really actually excited for this season because I really think that Aiden O'Connell is going to take this jump, and I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be coming out with some more videos, guys. I know I've been slacking, but I'm a new channel, man, just trying to get going again. Um, Family's got to come first always, and definitely I love you guys. I love Raider Nation, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.